What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I'm going to be diving into the Great League with another Serperior team that you guys can use, pairing it with both Registeel and Sableye. What I've found this season is I always want to use Serperior. I always want to put it on teams and run it because it is just so dang strong, and that's really refreshing to have a bulky grass-type Pokemon with coverage to stuff like Medicham. So let me know what you guys think about this team, and let's go and get right into it. All right, getting into the first battle here, we have Registeel on the lead versus Dugong. Pretty good matchup, as we can put a lot of shield pressure down with Focus Blast and Zap Cannon, and not too concerned for the drill runs that are probably going to be coming through, as they can't one-shot. Two will be able to take us out, though. Depending on IVs of your Registeel, mine are just horrible, and I haven't gotten any good ones. I've seen a lot of questions about that. Why does your Registeel have the IVs that it does over there? This was my only Registeel back when it got the fast move of Lock On. So this was the one I decided to use. This was the only one sub 1500 that I had. Let me clarify that. And then all the other ones that I've gotten just haven't been good IVs. Now, I decided to swap into Sableye to farm down and bank a charge move here on Registeel. And we do see a Venusaur come in. Now, Venusaur is also pretty strong this season. The reason being is there's a lot of cores that have Lantern and Medicham. So having a grass type or a grass poison type can really do well in that matchup. Obviously, Venusaur does have to watch out for stuff like Psychic and Ice Punch. But still, having the resistance to... boom! I didn't resist that boom right there. I let Sableye go down. I'm going to go ahead and come in with Serperior and load up on energy. Again, I still have my Registeel with quite a bit of energy in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and shield the Sludge Bomb and then look to load up right here. And they do decide to swap, and they have an Alolan Marowak in the back. And I'm like, oh no, I'm unshielded to the GOAT right here. This is going to be dicey. So what I'm going to have to do is try to force the Fire Blast on my Registeel. So I'm going to go ahead and go for double Aerial Ace, and I'm going to swap into Registeel now and go for Zap Cannon here. This is going to be forcing the final shield from the opponent, as we do get it. And then now they're going to go ahead and look to go for the charge move. Shadow Bone I don't think is enough to KO, but they instead decide to go for Fire Blast. Boom! Down I go, but this gives me an opportunity to potentially win this game, as they will look to go for Shadow Bone. This wasn't enough for another Fire Blast right here, thankfully. So we're looking pretty good, as we can easily survive that. They do swap into Venusaur, so now I have to go for the Aerial Ace, and this is going to be the risky call here, is going for the farm down, but I decide not to. I'm like, you know what, I can actually win the race to the next charge move versus Alolan Marowak, just because I know it's out of energy right now. So we're going to be able to get to that Frenzy Plant in time. I decide to go for Frenzy Plant just in case Aerial Ace wasn't enough. This is resisted, but it is a Frenzy Plant, so it's going to be enough to take them out. So good game, very well played. Alright, moving into the next one, we have Registeel versus Noctowl. Haven't seen this Pokemon in a while. It used to be top meta, and honestly it's still good, but they safe swap a Lantern, which is just going to get met with my Serperior, obviously. Serperior's in a great position right here to overload on energy and have plenty of health and energy on the back end. Now, I don't necessarily want to have a lot of health on the back end, because if I do, they're going to be able to commit to a full farm down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let this next charge move go through, and then we're going to look to go for a Frenzy Plant here soon. This should obviously be enough to KO. I'm hoping I can maybe undercharge just a bit, so I go for Great, but it still KOs, so that's alright. I needed to do maybe a Nice there to actually get the extra farm down. But now we will see Noctowl come back in, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and go for Aerial Aces here. This does some really nice chip damage, as the Noctowl will probably commit to the farm down. And I'm going to go ahead and just go for one more. And this is what's cool about Serperior, is your coverage, right? You do well against Lantern, you do well against Medicham and Swampert. You have Aerial Ace for neutral damage against these flyers. We swap in the Registeel, and they actually have a Galar Stunfisk in the back, which Sableye can handle really well, especially since they're going for Rock Slide right away. If they build up to Earthquake, obviously, it's a bit more troubling, because then it's a mind game of what they're going to be throwing, as the Earthquake does quite a bit of damage. But in this situation, we're okay with just no shielding that Rock Slide and just going straight foul plays, as we will get shields from them. Here comes another one. Now, this is where you need to start considering shielding, because what I don't want to happen is the Rock Slide goes through and then they get actually a full potential farm down with Mudshot before I can take them out, or at least get them low enough for Registeel to close this out. So we're just going to go ahead and keep going for foul plays. They decide to no shield that one. I think I can get away with a potential farm down right here, as I decide to let the Rock Slide go through, but no, it's not looking like it compared to the Mudshot Shadow Claw damage right there. I thought I might have been able to get it, but we're going to go ahead and throw the foul play. They decide to shield, and now I swap into Registeel so that they don't get the farm down, and this allows me to go for the safe Focus Blast. I will shield here as well, as it could be the Earthquake, but it was just another Rock Slide shield bait. And we're just going to go ahead and go for Focus Blast here to get rid of the Galar Stunfisk, and then the Noctowl in the back. Does have like basically 2 Shadow Balls. They can't go back to back, but they basically have that. But thankfully, it's not going to be enough damage to threaten Registeel right here, which is why this is such a strong Pokemon in the Great League to have. And if you only have one as well, kind of like I did when I first powered up mine, it's worth having, right? You don't know how long it's going to take to get a good PvP IV, and my garbage one, this thing's like rank 3,000 something. Look, it does its job. It still does well. Good game. Alright, moving into the next one. We have Registeel versus Shadow Dragonair here on the lead. Okay, so Shadow Dragonairs are pretty rare to see, but when you see them, they're typically paired with Bastiodon and Medicham. So I'm going to go ahead and try to play to that. And obviously having Serperior and Sableye as my back end is going to be very advantageous for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and go for Focus Blast right here. Try to do as much neutral damage as possible. I'm okay with potentially losing lead to the Shadow Dragonair, so long as I have shield advantage. So I'm going to go ahead and no shield right here, as they will go for another Aqua Tail. And then we will see them not swap. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Thankfully, they didn't swap right. I'm going to go ahead and go for this Focus Blast, and they decide to no-shield. Boom! Down it goes. In comes Medicham, which is totally fine. Again, as predicted, this is a very, it's a common team. If you see Shadow Dragonair, that's typically a sign there's a Medicham and a Bastiodon in the back, as Sableye can easily come into this matchup. And then I'm expecting the swap into Bastiodon at some point here, which Serperior can come in and handle, right? It still does great neutral damage with the Vine Whip and Frenzy Plant. Foul Play almost takes out the Medicham there. I will decide to shield this next Ice Punch, and then we do see the Bastiodon come in, so I'm going to go ahead and go for Foul Play, and then I will be I will be going into the Serperior here. Make sure I kind of catch up on energy a little bit. I am one fast move behind, basically. But Frenzy Plant and Vine Whip are going to do quite a bit of damage in order for me to win this game. And the Medicham on their side is out of energy, and it's extremely low. So as long as I have my Sableye with the health that it does, I should be able to Shadow Claw both Bastiodon and Sableye down in order to win this game, as Frenzy Plants here are going to be putting some pressure on the Bastiodon's shield. As you can see, that was this next one is going to be very close to KOing. If they don't shield, right, Sableye just comes in and farms down anyways. So we will get a shield there, and now we're going to be able to get to another one. Almost got to another one. So this is why being one fast move behind was very bad, as the Flamethrower, I barely survive. It just goes to show how good the Serperior is this season. It's so bulky. And then now Sableye can come in, Shadow Claw Bastiodon, and Shadow Claw the Medicham. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. Right, moving into the next one. We have Registeel on the lead versus Gligar. So this is kind of a tough matchup. We are doing nothing but resisted damage with Focus Blast and Zap Cannon. But Gligars typically pair with Lanterns from what I've seen. So Serperior Sableye backline could be very good for me. So we're just going to go ahead and try to play to that. I mean, obviously, it could be something completely different, but you need to take your best guess at what could be back there. So I swap into Sableye, and they make a mistake. They swap into Medicham. I thought this was very interesting, So I'm going to go ahead and no shield. I think this was a misclick on my opponent. Unfortunately for them, obviously, swapping a Medicham into a Sableye is not the best call that you could have. So we'll just, I've done bad swaps before myself. So yeah, they just let it go. But actually they have Surf Fetch. So both Pokemon actually were not great answers on their back line. They decided to come with Medicham. But this is going to be very interesting as this Surf Fetch might have Brave Bird, which obviously I'm going to fear. Now, going for foul plays are resisted, but it does so much damage because the Surf Fetch is so glassy that what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to do a Peekaboo. I tried to see if I could catch it right there, but I wasn't able to. So I'm going to go ahead and shield, as I don't want to get caught with the Brave Bird. It is going to be Night Slash, and now I'm going to try to swap into Registeel to catch the charge move, because obviously I don't want to get hit with the Brave Bird, and it's just going to be another Night Slash, and they undercharge it as well. So that is a good call by them. Now they have a lot of energy right here, and this is where we got to risk it. I'm like, okay, it's just going to be another Night Slash. This is fine. We can easily tank that. And then overload on energy, go for the Aerial Ace here. And this should be a good game, as the Gligar on the back end won't have enough energy for... I think they do need 2 Aerial Aces, but I will be able to get to the Frenzy Plant in time. And this is another reason, right? Serperior. Frenzy Plant here for Gligar's the #1 flyer in this meta. Boom! See ya, Gligar. Alright, moving into the next battle. We have Registeel versus Steelix. Okay, Focus Blast obviously very beneficial for us, as they will swap out into Trevenant, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in Sableye as the counter swap. Now, I don't know what's in the back. This could be a double grass line, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is another Serperior back there, as Steelix and Serperior are a great combo, even against fire Pokemon, because of Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe there on the Shadow Steelix. So we're just going to go ahead and take out the Trevenant, and Steelix is going to come in. We're going to go ahead and go for the foul play, try to do as much chip damage as possible. And the Steelix has to throw as well versus us. And even then, the Breaking Swipe I don't think does enough damage, and we get to a second foul play here. This is critical for us to potentially win. And they decide to no-shield that one as well. So I'm wondering if there's Medicham in the back actually, but even if there is a Medicham, Serperior can handle that, so I'm going to go ahead and swap out. And no! It's a Ninetales! A Shadow Kanto Ninetales. And this is just payback. This is what karma is. Because I said it a couple videos ago when I ran Kanto Ninetales myself, is so many people are running cores that are weak to fire, right? This core is weak to fire. You might have said that in the comments earlier in this video. And it is. But I haven't seen that many fire-type Pokemon. I've seen way more like Dugongs and Lanterns and Azumarill than I've seen Kanto Ninetales. So that's why I tried to run this core, and obviously one of these games we ran into a Shadow Kanto Ninetales, so this can be a good game. I'm about to just get fully clapped right here. There's nothing I can do other than potentially catching a charge move on Sableye, and even then, Registeel can't take down this Ninetales. They have a 1-0 shield advantage. So this is going to be a good game, unfortunately for me. But, you know, this is something I called earlier this week. Or this week, it's Monday. So I think I did the Ninetales video on like Friday or something. Friday or Saturday. But yeah, it's obviously... It's a team that's... this is where I could have potentially caught the charge move, was right there. But either way, good game. Ninetales was a core breaker for me. Boom, down we go, and rightfully so. So that is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving to the next one, we got Registeel versus Serperior on the lead. Pretty good for us with Focus Blast, as we will be resisting everything here from the Serperior with the Frenzy Plant and Aerial Ace, so we can easily let it go as well. And I'm just anticipating them swapping out at some point, because they cannot stay in this matchup. And if they do swap out, we obviously got to be quick on what we decide to bring in based on what you see. So another little hint is you can look in the top right, and they come in with Swampert. So obviously, Serperior is just going to lock this thing down. Now, with a Swampert safe swap, this is very questionable from my opponent, because a Swampert is not a good safe swap. A Swampert is a good anchor or lead so that it can try to avoid grass-type Pokemon through the whole dance of the battle, right? In this case, they safe swap. So what does this tell you? I'm reading they have another water in the back that's extremely weak to Serperior. Otherwise, they wouldn't be safe swapping a water ground. So what I'm going to do here is actually keep my Serperior alive to win this game. I have 2-to-1 shield advantage right now. I have lots of energy. So I'm just going to use the Serperior to take out theirs. I will give up shields in order to win this one because I have a feeling it's going to be something like a Azumarill or a Lantern in the back. Azumarill would have made a better safe swap if I was my opponent right there. Lantern wouldn't have. So let's see what it's going to be. It's going to be the Lantern. Okay, so we can go ahead and go for Frenzy Plan, and that's a big tell, right? When you see a Serperior lead and you see a Swampert safe swap, it's like there's another water back there. This is an ABB line, but that's okay. My own Serperior is going to be able to take this one as I can safely shield the charge move and fast move down. So unfortunately for my opponent, I was running the Slithery Snake here in this set of battles, so good game, very well played. All right, moving into the next one, Registeel versus Alolan Ninetales. Very positive lead for me, and we will see them swap into Gligar, so I'm going to go ahead and come in with Sableye. Obviously, we want to keep Sableye away from the Alolan Ninetales, and this matchup is something that Sableye can overcome when it comes to flipping this mid-game. So we're just going to go ahead and just try to do as much damage as we can, obviously. I'm not going to be going for returns here. Foul play will do just fine, as the opponent might be looking to shield a lot and try to take switch as well. So I'm going to go ahead and give up 2 shields. They decided to go for Dig on that one, which is good. That's a little bit more energy than Aerial Ace. And now I can safely go for this foul play, and I should be able to get another one and survive. And it's going to do enough neutral damage where even if they shield right here, we can survive this next charge move and take out the Gligar. So we're going to go ahead and try to get this foul play off. We do. And now it's going to be a matter of what their final Pokemon is. But the foul play was barely not enough, and we simultaneously KO. I'm like, oh no. This is always a risky call. I'm going to come in with the Registeel, and it was actually Ninetales that came in, which is perfect, and they have Medicham in the back, so Serperior can handle this one. This is going to be close still. Because Medicham is ahead on energy, and 2 Ice Punches is going to be enough to take us out along with the counter damage. So what I'm going to try to do here is just do as much damage as physically possible to get this Medicham out of there, because this is going to be a very close game. And we get to the Aerial Ace, but not in time. Oh, this is devastating because Ice Punch now KOs us. So thankfully, I still have a good amount of energy on Registeel. I'm just going to go for the Focus Blast. So it's not as bad as you may have thought. Because Registeel, boom, get that Medicham out of here. Get back in here, Alolan Ninetales, and they decide to surrender. So good game, very well played. All right, moving in. Actually, that might have been the final one. Yeah, that was the final battle. So decent sets here with this team. Obviously core broken by fire, so a Talonflame or a Kanto Ninetales is something you might want to be on the lookout for. But Registeel with Zap Cannon and Focus Blast can still do well in those matchups when you come back in with energy. So overall, pretty fun team. I think the takeaway from this is Serperior is so meta that you guys should be looking to run it on other teams, as it's incredibly strong and very useful in Pokemon Go Battle League. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.